Here's what's scary about crossing the $1.9 million mark for retirement. You've built the kind of wealth most people never reach, but now the IRS, the markets, and the financial system are all positioned to take it away from you. Even worse, most advisors are still giving you advice designed for someone with $500,000. At $1.9 million, you don't have a retirement problem anymore, you have a wealth preservation problem. And if you get this wrong, decades of disciplined savings can disappear faster than you think. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 biggest traps that catch people at this level completely off guard, and a framework to help protect what you've built while actually living the retirement you've earned. I'm Kurt Soupy. I'm a CPA and retirement planner for more than 25 years. I co-founded Creative Financial Group back in 2004, and here's what I've seen over and over. The 1.9 million threshold is a game changer. But here's what no one tells you. The same milestone that gives you freedom also creates different kind of anxiety. Research from BlackRock found that most retirees still had 80% of their savings after almost 2 decades in retirement. And it wasn't because they didn't need it. It's because even with significant assets, people are afraid to spend what they've built. The emotional pressure doesn't disappear at this level. It just shifts from do I have enough to how do I not lose it? And that fear makes sense because at this wealth level, the complexity multiplies. You're facing complex tax planning decisions, sequence of returns risk that could derail everything, Medicare surcharges that spike unexpectedly, government benefit clawbacks, and estate planning mistakes that can cost your heirs hundreds of thousands. But here's the good news. When you know how to navigate these challenges, they become opportunities to protect and grow what you've built. So let's dive into the 5 traps you need to avoid if you have over 1.9 million saved for retirement. The first trap, not knowing your true number. Most people fixate on round numbers, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, but they have no real clarity on what they actually need to live the life they want. Here's the truth. Your number is deeply personal. It depends on your lifestyle goals and the retirement activities you want to pursue. It depends on your actual expenses, not what you think you'll spend or what you're spending today, but what you'll actually spend in retirement. One example, people look at how much they spend on healthcare while working, they're sticker shocked by what it actually costs in retirement. Whether it's Medicare or pre-Medicare health insurance, which can often be upwards of double the price of your Medicare out-of-pocket expenses, you also have to look at your fixed income sources. Do you have Social Security, pensions, rental income? Without this clarity, the anxiety never goes away. You'll constantly be asking yourself, do I have enough or am I going to lose this amount over 25 or 30 years of retirement? And here's the irony. By the time you finally feel like you have enough, if you don't know your true number, there's a good chance you might have too much and you actually lost out on some of the best years of retirement you could have been enjoying instead of grinding away at work. Now stick with me, because in a few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact formula to calculate your true number. But first, let me show you the tax time bomb that most people don't see coming. Trap number 2, the tax time bomb. For a lot of people who have 1.9 million or more saved, they run into serious trouble when they are heavily concentrated in pre-tax retirement accounts, like IRAs or 401ks. Once you hit age 73, and in 2033, it'll be age 75, required minimum distributions kick in. These force you to take out taxable income whether you need it or not, and it's often above your actual spending level. The consequences cascade quickly. You get pushed into a higher tax bracket. Up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxable. You could be looking at IRMA surcharges, which increase your Medicare premiums. You may even trigger net investment income tax. Now I want to be clear. RMDs aren't the retirement destroying monster that many people make them out to be. Stick around because later in this video, I'm going to share specific strategies you can use if you have a majority of your savings in qualified accounts. But there's an even bigger issue lurking in your portfolio. The third trap, industry targeting. Once you cross 1.9 million, the pitches start coming. You have likely been an accredited investor for a while now, depending on your income. So these exclusive private equity deals, real estate syndications, and alternative investment funds make it sound like you're missing out if you don't participate. But here's the problem. These investments tend to be very illiquid. Your money gets locked up for months or even years. You're looking at higher fees that eat into your returns, and often there are misaligned incentives. They're better for the promoter and more questionable for you. The solution? Investment clarity. You need a systematic process to evaluate and frankly usually decline these investment decisions. Here's what the data shows. Lower cost index funds, ETFs, and individual stock strategies have constantly outperformed overly active managed alternatives over time. Simple isn't sexy, but it's often much better for your long-term wealth. I'm going to give you a 1-minute test later that makes these decisions obvious, but first let me show you the portfolio issue that can wreck everything, the fourth trap, and that's portfolio misalignment. At 1.9 million or more, mistakes in your asset allocation get amplified fast. Just think about it. A 20% market drop equals $300,000 gone. That's both a psychological shock and a real financial setback. And the risk cuts both ways. If your portfolio is too aggressive, you're exposed to potentially devastating sequence of returns risk early in your retirement. But if you're too conservative, you might feel safe in the short run, but you're quietly losing ground. When your money doesn't keep up with inflation, especially the rates we've seen recently, it buys less and less over time. In plain terms, what cost you $1 today could cost you $2 or more by the time you're deep into retirement. The solution is a balanced portfolio with 3 layers. I'll show you exactly how to set this up in a few minutes, but there's one more trap that can undo everything you've built. The fifth trap, legacy blind spots. Here's a sobering reality. At 1.9 million or more, your wealth often exceeds what you'll personally consume in retirement. That's good news unless you fail to plan intentionally. Without proper legacy planning, 70% or more of family wealth dissipates by the second and especially the third generation. Your hard-earned assets can create more problems than solutions for your heirs. Tax inefficiencies erode the wealth you've worked a lifetime to build. The solution at a high level is to take an active role and educate your heirs on financial stewardship so they're prepared to handle inherited wealth. Blend charitable giving with your tax strategy for maximum impact, and structure your inheritance intelligently using proper beneficiary designations, Roth accounts, and trust where appropriate. Remember, legacy planning isn't just about passing money, it's about passing values and creating a lasting, positive impact for those you care about most. Now let me fulfill those promises and show you how to put your plan on rails. Let's start with your true number. This is where everything starts and a lot of advisors just skip right past it. It's critical to begin from a position of clarity about what you really want your lifestyle to be in retirement. That vision should lead all the calculations and not the other way around. Here's the process. Pull your last 2 or 3 bank statements and write down what you're actually spending each month. Include everything: property taxes, insurance, travel, the stuff that always comes up. Not what you think you spend, what you actually spend. Next, subtract any guaranteed income. Social Security if you started it, pensions, rental income, anything that's coming in no matter what. Now here's the key question. If the market dropped and stayed down for a year, what could you trim for 6 to 12 months without it hurting your quality of life? Most people have a few things they could adjust temporarily, not forever, just for a stretch. Take that monthly gap, multiply by 12. That's your annual withdrawal need. But here's what makes this work. Split it into 2 numbers, your base and your boost. Your base is what you spend in normal years. Your boost is extra spending in the first 10 years of retirement while you've got health and energy. With one rule, if markets hit a rough patch, you trim back to base temporarily. That's your number, not a rule of thumb, not some 4% calculation, your actual retirement paycheck. And many retirees don't realize they can actually spend a lot more earlier in retirement if they're willing to be flexible and stay on top of spending adjustments depending on what the market does. This becomes your retirement paycheck. It gives you confidence and flexibility without rigid formulas that don't match reality. Now, the tax-smart withdrawal sequence. This is where you pay taxes on purpose at better rates and avoid penalties. Base order. Spend from taxable accounts first while harvesting gains and losses deliberately. After that, pull from your pre-tax accounts to fill your current bracket. If you're in a favorable bracket window in your 60s before RMDs and before both spouses claim Social Security, consider partial Roth conversions to fill that bracket rather than waiting for forced withdrawals later. Keep Roth as your volatility buffer and your legacy lever. Roth dollars are most valuable for optional spending and most valuable to heirs from a simplicity standpoint. Now the adjustments that matter. Watch the 2-year Medicare look-back thresholds as you time conversions or large withdrawals. A conversion that looks smart can get less smart if it drags 2 years of surcharges with it. Spread moves across calendar years to smooth the impact. Balance capital gains and taxable accounts against conversions in the same year and coordinate with the start of Social Security. Sometimes delaying Social Security makes sense. Sometimes claiming earlier is smarter. There isn't one right answer, but there is a right answer for your math. Run this sequence and you'll see two things happen. Your total lifetime taxes go down and your RMDs later become manageable instead of disruptive. You're not eliminating taxes, you're shaping them. Now let me show you the portfolio adjustment that changes everything. Most people try to solve market stress with opinions, more stocks, fewer stocks, different funds. The adjustment that actually changes behavior is simple. Carve out 1 to 3 years of planned withdrawals in cash and short-term high-quality investments. That's your runway. Put your next 3 to 10 years of withdrawals in quality intermediate term. That's your buffer. Leave the rest fully invested for growth. That's your engine. Then write one rule. During a stock market downturn, spend from the runway and refill it from the buffer on a set schedule. Don't touch the engine until markets recover. Same overall allocation you might already have, different placement and rules. What changes is your behavior. When markets wobble, you're not asking, do we sell? You're saying, we already funded next year. That protects you from forced sales and bad months and protects the part of your plan that funds your life. It's also why you can use that boost early without losing sleep. Now, the 1-minute test for exclusive investments. Before you put money in anything that sounds exclusive, ask 3 questions. Question 1. Can I explain in plain English how this makes money and how I could lose money? If you can't, stop there. Question 2. What are the all-in costs in dollars each year? Not just percentages, and how long is my money locked up if I need it back? If you don't get a complete answer in writing, that's your answer. Question 3. Compared to a low-cost mix I can buy today, what does this have to beat after fees and after tax over 5 to 10 years to be worth it? If the math doesn't clear that bar, you're not missing out by saying no, you're protecting your plan. Last thing, legacy alignment. Your tax plan and your legacy plan are the same conversation at this level. Check your beneficiaries. Make sure primaries and contingents match your current intentions. Decide if you want to give to charity during life where you can see the impact, or at death through beneficiary choices. If control and protection for heirs matters, talk with an attorney about the right structure. But here's the connection. Choosing which accounts fund your lifestyle, which you convert, and which you leave alone isn't just tax efficiency. It's how you shape what your heirs actually receive and how simple their lives will be. Look, crossing 1.9 million means you entered a new stage with a new set of rules. With a clear framework in place, you can turn financial complexity into confidence. You can protect your wealth from unnecessary risk and truly enjoy the freedom retirement brings. Most importantly, you can create a lasting legacy that reflects your values and supports the people and causes you care about most. If you want help building a plan like this for your situation, I'll put a link in the description below. You can reach out to our team. We work with families at exactly this level every day. I'm Kurt Soupy, CPA. I've helped families at this level for more than 25 years, and I'll see you in the next one.